If you are reading this, it means that I am now dead. I'm currently typing this on my laptop at an ungodly pace, so please bear with me if my grammar and spelling is sloppy, but it's because I have not much time left on this god-forsaken earth. This is a warning about the entity that will be the death of me shortly. Its name is Belphegor. Very stupidly, my inevitable demise was caused by my participation in a ritual that I have now come to regret. Now, I have always been a skeptical individual. Even from being young, I always believed that anything paranormal or horror-related on TV was all make-believe. I was always one to debunk these types of things and figured what was the worst that could happen. Until, that is, I discovered this ritual. So, it was without a doubt that when I heard a certain set of rules for a ritual in which I had inherited from my grandmother, may her soul rest in peace, my sense of curiosity skyrocketed through the roof. The world is cruel for even allowing such a vile rite to exist, so I'd be lying if I said that I cared if anyone else tries it, and after all, you're still reading this, aren't you? All I can say is that if you so choose to partake in this ritual, although not recommended, that it should be done with an open mind and with absolute certainty that you would follow the rules. Failing to do so would enrage Belphegor, and let me tell you, the result would not be pleasant. Of course, every ritual has a reward, whether physical or cognitive, which is what really drove me to do it, but I will get to that later. You will need 3 dozen candles, preferably dark colors, a box of matches, salt, any living creature of your choice, a bug, a lizard, even a rodent perhaps, but you must keep the creature of choice in containment where it shall not be able to escape. An alarm clock, a pocket mirror, a flashlight, which is optional, a few strands of your own hair, a pocket knife that is sharp enough to leave a mark on wood, and lastly, an empty room with no windows and a door that can block off as much light as possible. It must be a room big enough for 2 people to lay down, and one with a wooden floor, one you have no problems with making blade marks on. During the morning or afternoon, on the day that you would like to initiate the ritual, shut the blinds and lock all the doors in your house. Shut off all the lights, including the ones that could potentially enter the room through the gaps of the door. To begin the ritual, you want to make sure that the time it commences is 12 at midnight. No shorter than a few minutes past midnight may work. Next, sit directly in the middle of the room and place the candles in a pattern to make the shape of an oval. Make sure you can fit your entire body within the oval. Now sprinkle a ring of salt around the candles so that it too forms the shape of an oval. The barrier of salt will act as a protective field between you and the entity. It is basically a limit to how close it can come near you. After creating the salt barrier, place a few strands of hair anywhere outside the salt barrier. The step is needed to summon Belphegor, as he will taste your essence and be drawn to try and take more. Lastly, place the creature you have chosen under containment outside the barrier of salt. This creature acts as an offering for Belphegor. Now, you must step into the oval of the candles and lay down, making sure to not knock any of the candles over. Set all the items within the salt barrier and proceed to carve to the best of your ability in the middle of the candle barrier that you have created a symbol consisting of a circle being covered by the triangle, and inside the circle draw an upside-down cross. After all the preparation, it should be nearly a half hour past midnight. Next, set the alarm clock so that it goes off in 2 hours. Now have yourself a rest. You'll need it, and it's necessary for the ritual to continue. Upon dozing off, You will dream of yourself waking up somewhere in a very poorly lit, abandoned underground facility. The smell of death will fill your nose. Unnatural, low-pitched screams with seemingly no source will dance around your ears, and the taste of rust will constantly linger on your tongue. With no self-control, you will go through a series of doors throughout the many halls in the facility, until you reach a door that is painted red, and you would enter it, which you would be woken up by the alarm. Very briefly after opening the tainted door, you would have caught a glimpse of what Belfadov looked like from behind. He stands roughly 10 feet tall, with bare reddish skin, and his hands would be covered in a pair of tight, red gloves. As far as I remember, he was covered in a substance that looked like blood, but it moved like a gas. Upon waking up, you would start to feel a presence somewhere in the room. The temperature will drop dramatically, but you would just have to fight it. You will soon notice that the containment of the creature that you have offered has been somehow removed when you were in Dreamland, but the creature will be stationary. Upon noticing this, you must keep your eyes shut for a few seconds, and the creature will be a crushed form of what it was a second ago. Congratulations. Belfadov has now accepted your offering. Once Belfadov has accepted your offering, pick up your pocket mirror and hold it up so you can see yourself and the space behind you. You will notice 2 glowing red orbs through the reflection. At least, that's what I thought those were. They're actually the eyes of Belfadov, and he is not at the least happy to have been summoned. He will put you through a number of trials to test whether you are worthy of possessing a great power, which I will get to later. Each trial will test the strength of each of your senses. Whatever you do, don't show any signs of weakness or fear, or Belfadov will feast on your very being, leaving you almost unrecognizable. Now on to the first trial. You will experience a stench more foul than one you could have ever have imagined. Do not gag, and keep yourself from throwing up, as this is a sign of weakness. It will soon fade after a short while, to which you will begin Trial 2. Trial 2 tests your sense of touch, where an enlarged version of the creature you have chosen will appear healthy and alive. You need to kill it, either using your bare hands or the blade you have brought. Upon killing the creature, Trial 3 will begin, and you will need to consume a small portion of the creature's blood by gathering a portion of it in your palms and drinking it. As bad as it may taste, again, do not gag or show any signs of weakness. Belfadov, at this point, would be quite impressed, and you will feel a tongue sliding past your neck. Do not freak out. This is just his way of acknowledging you. The second to last trial, Trial 4, involves enduring a noise so loud and demented, you would have wished you never had ears. But as irritable as the sound is, do not cover your ears or show any signs of weakness. The last trial will not only test your sight, but your bravery as well. Upon blinking, you will see dead bodies hanging from nooses on the ceiling. Do not panic, as this would be a sign of weakness and fear. These bodies, they're believed to have belonged to the people who participated in this ritual and failed. Now, their souls are trapped with Belfadov for eternity. What follows is the area I have failed in. You would start to notice a young boy outside the barrier of salt staring directly at you. His face would start to shift into what you can only describe as an abomination. And he will lash out at you, but don't worry, he cannot make contact with you. To pass this trial, all you need to do is avoid flinching. If all was followed, the boy and the bodies will disappear, and you will come face to face with Belfadov himself. He will offer you 3 choices: the ability to never have to sleep in your life again, with a bonus of superhuman strength, the ability of eternal youth to look the same until your inevitable death, or the ability to telepathically communicate and read people's minds. Whatever you choose is entirely up to you. Upon choosing your offer, Belphegor will disappear, and you will be left with what you desired. To end the ritual, carve 2 parallel lines across the symbol, blow out the candles, and exit the room. You can now use the flashlight. You might want to carry a locket of salt because Belphegor might choose to follow you until the end of your time. Now, that is how you do the ritual. Here's where I messed up. During that 5th trial, I started feeling a sense of pure dread and immediately started flinching. Now at this point, you'd think I'd be dead for sure, but no. Upon flinching, I knew I had to accept my fate, but before Belphegor made his final blow, I slipped under him and barely made it out of my house alive. I now type this from a nearby hotel with crappy Wi-Fi, accepting my unavoidable fate, this time because I know one thing. You can outrun Belphegor, but you cannot escape him. All that is left for me right now is death, as I sit in this bathtub toying around with the blade that I escaped with. I wonder if using it on myself would be a better way of dying than being slain by Belphegor. So my friends, that was the faculty ritual submitted to me directly by Justin Chua. Thank you, Justin, for submitting this story. Really do appreciate it. Definitely an interesting little story. I kind of miss some of these ritual pastas. I know I've done one more. The whole, do you suffer from crippling insomnia story was one of these. But yeah, really, you don't get a lot of these anymore. So thank you very much, Justin, again. And I hope you all enjoyed it. If any of you guys have a story you want to submit my way, send it to me. There's links below to do so. I do sometimes take a little bit to get to the stories, like this one was submitted a while back. Not too long, but still a while ago. And I do apologize, Justin, for taking so long, but I will absolutely get to your story if you submit it my way. All that said, friends, if you did enjoy this and want more like this, please hit that subscribe button, the bell icon next to it. You can also hit that thumbs up button to let me know you like the story, and follow me on all my social media platforms, or get early access to every one of the things I post on either Patreon or channel memberships. Both those help the channel immensely. All that said, you beautiful people, I will see you on the next video, but until then, sleep well.